Okay, I want to do a little demo today on how I cut and mark my fabric. Now, this fabric has already actually been cut, but I want to talk to you about that because in older patterns that I have, I might have had you cut the fabric actually just slightly bigger than the block itself. I might have also had you cut poly mesh. Once you cut your block, put a piece of poly mesh around it to make it bigger. Now what my technique is, which is much more streamlined, is cut a big piece of fabric. Cut it way bigger than what you need. And that way for those big jumbo hoops that are 10 inches by 16 inches, you have enough fabric to catch when you're ready to mark your block. Now this fabric, this is how I prepare all my fabrics now. I put Material Magic. I actually saturate the fabric in Material Magic so it's kind of actually pretty wet, and then I let it almost damp dry and iron it, and then I add Shape Flex to the back, and you can see the Shape Flex right about here possibly. The Shape Flex is right here and the fabric is down here. I left this open so that you could see that I had 2 layers of fabric because they're pretty close to the same color. Then once you have your Material Magic on and your Shape Flex and it's ironed, it looks like this and it's laying nice and flat. Now to actually mark your fabric, this is the easiest way, and I always have you do a center crosshair on your fabric vertically and horizontally. So I'm just going to fold my fabric over, and I'm just going to crease it right here. I'm going to flip it over this way, line up my edges as best I can, and I'm going to do it this way. So what I'm looking for right here is a good crease in the fold in the center. Now let's open that right back up, and what I have is a dent. Perfect. Okay, so now, when I mark my fabrics, I like them to be really perfect. So here's the best way to do it. You take your largest square ruler that you have. I personally love this Quilter Select ruler sets because they have, it sticks to the fabric and it doesn't knock easily. They're just phenomenal rulers here. And I'm going to take a secondary ruler and I'm going to line it up right here. And so what happens is, I'm not really looking at this edge, I'm really looking at the 1-inch lines. I want to make sure those 1-inch lines are exactly lining up right there. Then I try not to let my stomach hit this big ruler. That's going to be the tricky part because that's what, you're going to want to lean in and look. So you have to get comfortable with that big ruler. I'm going to hold the ruler so they don't move. I do not start in the middle and draw. I'm going to start from one end and I'm just going to draw straight across to the other end and stop. I don't go back and forth. That's it. Just one big, nice, long, smooth stroke. I'm going to put my hand on this ruler to hold it so it can't move, and I'm going to lift up the smaller ruler. I'm going to hold this down so it can't move, and I'm going to gently set this in right here. There we go. And I'm going to line it up, making sure that they're kissing together here. And now I'm just going to draw this line straight across. Now when you do that, you have a perfect, I'm going to move this over so you can see it. You have a perfect 90-degree angle. They line up beautifully. And it's because I didn't try drawing in the middle. I just did 2 really smooth straight lines. Now if I needed to draw a 6-inch or an 8-inch line on either side of center, I can use my big square ruler, put it on the 8-inch mark or the 6-inch mark, and when I do that, I'm going to make sure, this is how accurate you want to be. Put this line on the 8-inch mark if you're doing an 8-inch line. Put this so that any one of these lines going horizontal is on the mark that you did. Then when you come over here to mark, it's completely square. I would rotate my ruler just because I can figure out what 8 inches is easier if I see it. And I'm going to, again, move this one up here. So I love using, I'll be honest with you, I like using the dotted lines rather than the solid lines, except I have to have a solid line here if it's 8 inches because that's what the 8-inch mark is solid. But I always like to use the dotted line here because I can completely see if it's straight. Wow, I'm lined up perfect here, perfect there, and boom, my last line. So now it is marked, ready to be embroidered, and actually with really sharp, crisp lines. And the other thing that I want to mention is on this pin that I'm using It has a really great kind of a felt tip. It's fairly narrow, and the reason that this is so great is because I was able to do it in one stroke. I didn't have to go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth to get it, because it really does draw beautiful. Thank you, Margot. The other pen, this is the Sew Line Duo set. This is the marker. This is the eraser. So if I didn't want my line, if I did something wrong, I would just go over it like this. You can see it just takes that line right out. It's really easy to do, easy to remove, easy to get on. Cool thing also, extra bonus, is you can iron over this. You can iron over this all day long. So you can embroider, iron it to flatten it back out if that's what you want to do. And it doesn't hurt these lines at all, and they still come out with the eraser one. Pretty cool stuff. All right, good luck. Yay!